Did you notice my hat?
There's a lot of out there winners from that
I was
place.
just gonna say there's a lot of out there winners at that golf tournament.
Yep, and if you think that I'll ever forget that, you don't know me, Dan.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the suspension. Let's talk about Free Wesley. Before you played in this or agreed to play in this, did you talk to the tour? Did you know you were going to be suspended?
Yes, I did. I talked with a couple people at the tour trying to plead my case, or at least like give them some things to think about of why I didn't feel like it should have been an event. That didn't go well, but the more I like was because at the time I'm like learning the rules and regulations on the fly, and I'm just looking at it. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I'm looking at it from my point of view, saying there's just no way that I can read these and actually go through with a penalty as harsh as anybody that teed it up in a live event. And again, turns out I was wrong through that process, but I had a little more faith in the appeals process and appeals committee than I probably should have. But at the end of the day, it was me taking a stance of YouTube golf is my passion. That's where I feel like I can have the most my impact on the game of golf. And I felt like it was going to better serve our audience by me doing the YouTube thing and potentially sacrificing playing rights on the PGA Tour to continue to do what I was really passionate about. Like obviously in a perfect world, I'd love to do both, but I was put kind of in a corner to where I could turn down an opportunity to make really, really good content that we would own. The creators would own Grant Horvat, Brian Bros Golf, um, being a couple of those people that were actually going to own the content. I had to turn that down to continue to play on a tour of which there's no hiding it. Like I've seen it a lot in comment sections recently that yes, I didn't win 5 major championships, and my playing, I've had, believe it or not, I do realize that I've missed a lot of cuts on the PGA Tour as well. So I've seen that in comment sections as well. But yeah, I just had to make a decision for the overall YouTube golf landscape that was um, obviously a difficult decision that I had to make at the time, knowing what the repercussions could be. And I was at peace with it. I really was until the last couple weeks when all this stuff started kind of resurfacing of a direct pathway back to the PGA Tour and in a quicker timeline than mine. So I don't want to put a stink up about it. Like I don't want people to look at it as, wow. I think the phrase is like something about having your cake and eating it too. Like that's not it. For me, it wasn't monetary. I didn't go to try and make a lot of money from Live. I didn't go uh, to do anything to benefit financially. I went to create the best content. And yes, there was a small purse attached to it, of which the professional golfers weren't entitled to. And it was just for the creators, because kind of built by the creators. And um, yeah, so that's kind of my stance on the whole thing. I'm not upset one way or the other. I'm just kind of upset at how the process is gone and how I haven't been able to at least have a conversation with anybody that's actually making the decisions. I'm having conversations with people that are enacting the disciplinary action and trying to defend the PGA Tour's rules and regulations, of which I felt like we're a little outdated and also very very ambiguous in places as it pertained to my situation. So that's kind of my spiel. There's a lot of details that we can obviously get into, but I don't want this to. I don't want like a pity party from our supporters, but I also want the people that have been relatively belligerent online to realize that there are some things here that need to be addressed and discussed. And by me not having an opportunity to talk to the powers that be at the PGA Tour is just put me in kind of a weird position.
The way it was explained to me, because I asked as soon as the Patrick Reed thing came out, I asked the tour like, so what does this apply to Wesley? And it was explained to me that the difference, well, they're categorizing the duels in the same way that they're categorizing playing in the actual live golf events, which is one conversation. But the other thing they said to me that I thought was interesting was Patrick Reed resigned his membership before playing in an unauthorized event, and you did not. Did they suggest, hey, if you resign your membership, your penalty would be less severe?
Yeah, the option was presented to resign the membership, but again, all I've ever wanted to do as a kid was to compete on the PGA Tour. And even though I earned actually a lifetime membership to the PGA Tour through that 1 week that's on your hat, but not a lifetime member. That's obviously with 20 wins. But I didn't feel like it was necessary or the right decision just for me to give up all that I had worked for just to go play in a YouTube scramble event because again my argument all along was eventually I think someone will realize that these aren't actually events like professionally sanctioned events with a significant purse, which kept that was repeatedly to me of why I was breaking the rules. And so I didn't feel like for me it was the best decision to like give up my membership. Looking back at it, could I have been eligible to compete quicker? Yes, I could have, but I just kind of stood on the stance of, hey, I earned my PGA Tour lifetime membership through winning on the PGA Tour, and I don't want to give that up just to compete in a YouTube scramble because at the end of the day, I thought I was going to have a chance in the appeals process based on the rules that I was reading, and conveniently enough, right after I submit my appeals letter, there was a new guideline put in place in the player handbook that clearly defined social media golf and YouTube golf specifically, and types of events that you can and can't play in for YouTube content and long form content post produced. So that was a little bit odd. So then I reached back out saying, hey, is there a world in which I can talk to the appeals committee again, given this kind of pertains to my situation, and obviously there was some ambiguity in y'all's rules of which I questioned, and now there's a new rule change in the middle of my appeal, and I can't reach back out. So they didn't afford that conversation either, which was disappointing. And again, looking back at it, I could have potentially gone about it a little better from the very beginning, but I had a relatively firm stance because I'm an idiot, and there's no hiding it. So did I go about it the right way? Sure didn't. Sure didn't. But trying to, again, do what's best for the game of golf as a whole. And I think some level of unity, bring people, the PGA Tour is making unbelievable strides in the right direction right now. And again, I just at least want a conversation.
Yeah, so I mean, I've seen you're obviously one of the first, if not the first, tour player to like really jump into the YouTube world. Obviously, guys are doing it now. Like Jason Day, I saw he's filming stuff on site. I've also seen pros participate in money matches on YouTube. Obviously, they're not at live events, but they are money matches on YouTube. So have you had issues with the tour in the past with your YouTube content, or is this the first kind of butting of heads?
No, it's not even close to the first time that we've had these types of conversations. We had them through our skins games that we did, of which, again, I can't even begin to tell you how ridiculous some of those, like starting to classify Rick Shields and Peter Finch and Fat Perez and George Bryan and Grant Horvat as high level professional golfers was pretty ridiculous. And I love all those guys, but putting
It's
them in the
almost disrespectful to like actual
right,
elite.
I know, yeah, exactly. Like saying that they're elite professional golfers is unbelievable. And so, yes, I was denied. I actually put out a release, an event release to play on my own YouTube channel that's been denied multiple times. So, um, yeah, there's been issues in the past for sure.
So, what events would you want to play? Like, if you were reinstated, like, what would, because, I know you said in the past, I would be happy just doing YouTube. Obviously, you still want to kind of do both. Like, what would an ideal, if someone sees this, and there is new leadership, in a lot of places at the PGA. I'm really surprised they haven't at least given you a conversation. That seems like hard to justify. Let's say you do have a conversation, things go your way. Like, what would an ideal, what would it look like for you?
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago when the Brooks stuff came out, my wife did write a letter to Brian Rowlap and Jay Monahan, and it was really well thought out and kind of explained on a tournament level. There's a handful of tournaments that would, I think, I can't confirm, I guess I kind of could, that would want me to be a part of the events. And so the Myrtle Beach, it's in my home state. It's a tournament that George and I have both competed in. Bermuda, it's a tournament that is we have a really good relationship with the people in Bermuda and the Bermuda Tourism Authority, and have gone over there and shot a lot of content. And I know that they would love for us to be a part of their event. The new one in Utah, we've got good relationships over there with the Black Desert Resort, as we filmed a lot of content there.
We're
And
not talking Torrey Pines and waste management. Like you want to go to these smaller events, and that they need attention, they need juice.
Right. Well, they don't need attention. They get it through the PGA Tour, but it just doesn't sit well with me knowing that hey, if they want Brooks Koepka in their field, they can have him, and he competed for 4 years on LIV. But a guy that played in some YouTube scrambles is not allowed to be on property or compete in the event. So it's one of those things that's like relatively disappointing that it's gotten to this, and I, I I really want to like I want to play professional golf and compete. I've when I got suspended, I still probably would have gotten into 10 to 12 more events that I had earned through my play that wasn't given to me through sponsors invites that were earned through finishing 128 or whatever I finished on the FedEx Cup last year. So those were like playing privileges that I would have had. Um, but yeah, there's just a handful of tournaments that if they feel like I can provide value as a sponsor's invite, I'd love to play. And if I'd also love the idea to be able to document a little bit of a journey of trying to earn my way back through Monday qualifiers or Q school potentially. And again, those opportunities aren't awarded as well. And I think the most disappointing part of it all is like I mentioned, my wife sent a letter off to Brian Rolapp and Jay Monahan, and we got a response saying they reviewed the letter, but it was from basically their assistant saying, but no conversations necessary. And that was pretty difficult to say. Like, why can't we even talk on the phone for 10 or 15 minutes to just help me understand from a guy that's actually the one making the decision of of I want to at least be able to meet on some common ground because I want what's best for the game of golf as a whole, and I feel like the YouTube golf community can provide a lot of value to the PGA Tour, but also to the game of golf, and we should have a vested interest in that together. But it seems like right now it's pretty one-sided.
Another thing that people have speculated was that when you were suspended, that you would join Live as a player. Was that ever
Yeah.
offered to you?
Never once has it been offered to me to join a team, join as an individual. Uh, the only time I got an actual offer and a phone call was to be an alternate on site after we had filmed the duels, and a couple people got sick from one of the teams, maybe. And they were like, hey, are you still in town to potentially be an alternate or whatever those things are called? So that's it. I've had no direct conversations about being on any teams. Jokingly, I offered John Rahm like $1 million cash to join his team when it first got announced. Uh, was it a joke? Maybe not. I probably would have paid it to join his team, one of my best buds. But yeah, that's about as serious of a conversation that's ever been had about me joining the competitive league that again tried to come in and take a lot of the PGA Tour players and eyeballs and spread some of the media rights then, of which they should protect their media rights. The collective group of players is what makes those media rights so valuable, and that's the biggest revenue driver for the PGA Tour. And in my situation, I have no bearing or effect on media rights, as I'm not even shown on the top telecast anyway. I'm not
Yeah.
competitive at the top of every leaderboard like the guys that some of the ones that played a huge part in going over to live. So all I want to do is to be able to be a value add and on the content side. And again, there's plenty of opportunities maybe for us to work together in the future. Right now, it's not looking great. I feel like that we do have a lot of public support, which I'm super appreciative for, and grateful that there's people that are on our side. Like you mentioned earlier, the free Wesley stuff, but I don't want that to be like the what's turning people away from the PGA Tour. Like I love the support, but I don't love seeing the hey, I've boycotted watching the PGA Tour since they've treated you so poorly. Because again, I don't think that that's an overall win for the game of golf.
A lot of stuff has happened in the last couple of years, but let's all move forward together, right? Like this is not,
Yeah.
this is not really serving anyone, in my opinion. I appreciate you joining. I appreciate you being honest and forthright, and get back to that lovely resort that you're at.
All right. See you guys.